Omar Huda. I'm a resident of Los Angeles. I came here 30 years ago from the Indian subcontinent, and of course have been deeply interested in the subcontinent history. There is going to be a symposium in Los Angeles, unlike any other, on August 2, on a famous historical person in the name of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Today here, we're going to talk about that symposium. I have two gentlemen on my left and right. On my left is Mr. Sanjeev Mukherjee. He's involved in the environmental work in the USA for the last 35 years. And he's an activist for restoration of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in history. And on my right is Mr. Deepak Ghosh, who is an engineer by profession, a businessman, and an avid student of Indian subcontinental history. I will first turn to Mr. Mukherjee. Please tell us something about this symposium that is going to happen on August 2 in Los Angeles.
Our symposium, I believe, will be the first public exposure of our totally apolitical and non-profit group. We are as much introducing Netaji as well as his visions and dreams and ideals which we want to implement to the fullest extent possible by us.
That's fine. That's wonderful. We're going to learn more about the symposium itself. But before we go on further, I just want to say that a lot of people think that the Indian subcontinental history, the independence of the history, was a totally non-violent effort. But I just want to say that if you should know that 1 million people died when the British left and we got our independence. But when we get to that, and since this symposium is about Netaji Subhash Bose, I want to turn to Mr. Deepak Ghosh and tell us briefly as to a background history of who was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was patriot of patriots according to Mahatma Gandhi, whom the whole world knows. And the word Netaji came from a great Nobel laureate and poet of India, Rabindranath Tagore.
What does it mean? What does that word Netaji mean?
It means leader of the people. So that was to start with. The second thing is that he himself had a lot of contributions, and there must be thousands of books all over the world to explain his activities and deeds. Basically, he had an idea to make India independent and get out from the clutch of the British imperialism through methods which is contradictory to non-violence.
But tell us, what was he in the early 1940s or in the 1939? What was he? Was he a political figure or what?
In 1937, he became the president of Indian National Congress because he wanted to change the methods and non-violence, the processes of Congress, which he did not agree to, and he thought that it will take years before India can achieve independence from the British through non-violence methods.
Right. Just for the sake of some of the audience who may not know our history, at the time when the British had ruled the subcontinent for 190 years, and way later, due to a lot of effort of other political activists, there was one single political party, that is what is Indian National Congress. And in the late 30s, at a very young age, this young personality, budding personality called Subhash Chandra Bose, he became the president of Indian National Congress. But at the same time, we had a very important personality called Mahatma Gandhi, who the world knows. He was also a very important personality. What is the role of Mahatma Gandhi versus Netaji briefly at that particular time, just before the World War II?
Mahatma Gandhi was basically in support of supporting the British effort to fight in the Second World War, whereas Netaji Subhash Bose did not want Indian masses with their poverty and misery to get committed in a big struggle like Second World War. So that was one of the biggest difference. And second thing is that he thought that this is a big opportunity for India to get rid of the British at their weakest moment. So that's why he was looking for a venue to go against the British, because Indians that didn't have their own army of their own. So he had a plan during that time to create an organization which can fight the British army.
Fine. There are very, very detailed historical accounts written in hundreds of books on Subhash Bose, and you will learn a lot about that if you come to the symposium. But I want to now turn again back to the symposium. One of the purposes of the Netaji International Center is to restore Netaji Subhash Bose into history. Why restore? Why is he lost when he had so much of contribution to independence? Why do you even have to restore such a person from history?
It is very unfortunate, really unfortunate, that the history of Netaji's struggle for India's independence mainly lies outside of India and has not emerged fully and has not been presented fully to the India people. Part of it lies scattered in Japan, part of it lies in Southeast Asia, some of it lies in Europe. We plan to document Netaji's activities after 41, when he started his real armed struggle against the British powers that was ruling India.
All right. Let us turn once again to the avid student of Indian subcontinental history, Mr. Deepak Ghosh. So much has been documented and filmed, especially in the West, on Mahatma Gandhi and his nonviolent stance. And of course, his nonviolent stance was followed by both Martin Luther King Jr. here and Nelson Mandela in the West. First of all, would you even agree that the Indian independence from the British Raj that occurred in 1947 was nonviolent, considering that 1 million people died? And second, along with that, answering that question, could you please explain why Subhash Chandra Bose disagreed with Mahatma Gandhi and proposed a violent means to throw out the British Raj?
Actually, the whole history goes back a long way. Subhash Chandra Bose initially was not following the violent or any other armed struggle method. But when he realized that the non-violence method, which was being propagated by Mahatma Gandhi and their followers, was not bringing any results, and not only that, the ultimate outcome they were asking for was the just dominion status of India, whereas Subhash Bose and his followers, they wanted a full independence. And as a matter of fact, India really got full independence. The second thing is there that this non-violence method of achievement is not really, if we follow the history to its fullest truth. As you said, 1 million people died before India got independent, number one. Number two, this Indian National Army, which was formed by, or rather led by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, they fought and even came up to the point of occupation of Andaman Nicobar Island, Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh today, as well as in the Indian border states like Manipur and Kohima. They were all under the occupation of Indian National Army. But unfortunately, because of the Japanese defeat, the supply line got cut off and they could not proceed further. So that was one. Second thing was that when the Indian National Army people were tried by the British court, there was a big commotion all over the subcontinent. It is not only in India today, it is all over.
That's very